Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee, which is delightful as always. Today is Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. And if you're on video, you will see that like my first cup of coffee has been sucked down quite a bit. I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole talking in one of my author chats this morning. Some interesting things going on lately, which I may or may not talk about. I am discreet. That's why I always tell people is like, you should hear all the stuff I don't say. So I always try not to blab or whatever. I try to consider my blabbiness judiciously. But I have things to share today because book plates, Owl Crate edition. I finally get to show you. Well, book plates I could have shown you before, but hey. For a very long time, I have had Jeffy Kennedy book plates. We're going to need more of those. All right, limited edition. This is my last sheet of Jeffy Kennedy book plates, apparently. So these are on my web store. I got so excited I started spitting. Please excuse me. I was salivating over the last sheet of Jeffy Kennedy book plates. It has the hat logo and everything. They're super cute. You can get these through my web store. We finally uploaded them to the web store. We also have Beautimus rose book plates. These are light purple color, and they've got a box with a golden rose inside of it. Assistant Corrine designed these, and so I've been taking them with me on book tour, which was really great to have. I learned this from P.H. Lowe, who had them at the Columbus Book Festival, and it's great because then people can, if they don't like that, a lot of people were coming up to me, for instance, at San Diego Comic-Con saying, I have Never the Roses at home, and I could say, would you like a book plate? Would you like a signed book plate? So you can get both of those through the web store. I think it's like $2 to cover my costs and postage. So let me know if you want one of those. Just purchase it through the web store. And if the web store gives you trouble, there's a link on there to email Assistant Corrine, and she will help you. She's very helpful and very patient. She used to be in like online customer service, so she knows how to do all the things. Now, also, drum roll, which I'm bad at doing, I can share with you the Owl Crate edition of Never the Roses. Look how beautiful this is. I have been sharing this. God, what's wrong with me today? I've been sitting on this for like a month. They sent me a box full of them, or probably a box full. And they're beautiful. And I asked, so can I share this? Ha ha ha. And I see, here we are back to the same thing about like, I do sometimes remember to ask if I'm allowed to blab about things. And in this case, the answer was no. So it was a good thing I asked, because I like nearly did it anyway before I asked. And I thought, maybe I should ask. And so it turns out Owl Crate said, oh, well, the books are supposed to be a surprise. And I was like, oh, well, guess I didn't know that, but now I know. And so I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I had been seeing people saying things like rumored Owl Crate special edition. And I was like covering my mouth. It's like I can neither confirm nor deny. I know, it's silliness. So anyway, now I've been seeing the videos out there of the unboxing, and I can do my own. It's not really a boxing, but it's a reveal. So this is best done on video, but if you're on audio, I will show you. It's Never the Roses with a special cover. It's got a huge purple rose on the front with Onera's house rising out of it. The font, the Never the Roses title, and my name are in purple, dark purple foil. The The side has a chain of roses, and the back has the house again inside of a circle of thorns. And it says, "The world made us enemies, not we ourselves," also in that dark purple foil. And there is Bunny, the Skahu, and there's Adsilla, the Kestrel, in there, and also, come on, where's Mariah? Is it Mariah in here? It was really fun working with the artists. They let me choose artists. They gave me like lists of artists for different aspects of the book. And, I guess Mariah is not on the back. I don't see her. Maybe she's hiding. It would be very tricksy and on brand for her. So I got to choose the artists that I liked, like I ranked them, and then they invited the artists to do things. And yeah, it was really fun. And I got to see the various iterations and give feedback. Owl Crate people were amazing. Okay, so sprayed edges, spreages. So on the side, there are the big side, the long side. There are different colored roses, purple and white. And there's Mariah. She's looking up at one of the roses. And at the top, there's Bunny again amidst the roses. And on the bottom, there's Adsilla, this time in full color, in the rust and blue color. So then you remove the dust jacket, and we'll do this part first. I think this is my favorite thing. Look at this inside of the dust jacket. They made essentially tarot cards of Onira and Steranos. And it's just amazing. They've got them listed as Steranos as the Stormbreaker and Onira as the Oniramancer. And they've got all these great tarot elements in there. And it's like they knew I love tarot. The Stormbreaker's got fireballs on his hands. And Onira has the roses and dreamlike elements. And then on the little flyleaf flap, on the Stormbreaker's side, it says, "Even the sages do not know how the heart heals." And on the back flap, it says, "I've washed my hands of it all. I'm done with war." It's so cool. It's so beautiful. Okay, so now, once you take the dust jacket off, look at what they did here. Because if you have not read the book, you might not know, but there's this whole thing about the library, about Steranos' library and them trading notes. But it starts because Onira steals a book from him. She's bored. She goes and she finds the book that he's been reading most recently, because why not? If he's interested, let's see why. And it's called A Guide to Cultivating Viridian Roses. And so they put that on this, the case. It has that book. And then they have a couple of replications of the notes that they exchange, that they leave for each other. And then on the back, they have what looks like the actual cover of The Adventures of Beastly Bunny, which is a book that Onira leaves for him, mainly to get under his skin. It was a book from her childhood that had belonged to her grandmother, and she valued it. And so she was like trying to give something of equal value and rarity, a book he couldn't get anywhere else, but also it's The Adventures of the Beastly Bunny. And there's this whole thematic element with that, where Onira is also a gardener. They're both gardeners. They share that. That's cultivation of Viridian roses. And she has a hard time with the rabbits in her garden. This may be a little bit autobiographical. For me, it's not rabbits, it's rock squirrels. But Onira has made a vow never to kill anything again. So she really struggles with the rabbits. And The Adventures of Beastly Bunny is about a bunny that goes into a garden and eludes all of the gardener's efforts to stop it. And so then there's also a quill pen dripping ink and a couple of little fragments from the notes. And there's also a little fragment of sort of like a little line drawing of the Beastly Bunny chewing up a book, which is a thing that I should have said there's spoilers, but I'm glad I get to finally talk about this book, right? Uh, there's a moment where Onira, because she's an Oniromancer, she controls dreams, she inserts the image of Beastly Bunny chewing up a book into Steranos's dreams because she's annoyed. All right, so then on the inside, maybe this is a flyleaf. I should have got my terminology right. Look at this beautiful, beautiful illustration. It shows Steranos asleep on his desk, and it even has like the note that he's writing to her as her sleep enchantment hits him. And Onira is leaning over his shoulder and looking at him. And yeah, and you can even see it says a little bit where he's writing cowardly thief. He's trying to he can feel the sleep spell coming on, and so he starts writing that and tells her he's trying to prod her into waking him up. And then it also shows the ocean outside and the moon, and all of these details are so perfect. It's all directly from the story. So then at the back, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It shows Sterno shirtless, which, you know, we like that. And Onira with her hair down now. And they are in her house at this point. And this is a scene from near the end of the book. But you could see a little bit of this kind of altar that Onira makes. And she puts flowers on every day. That's part of her grieving process. So then, but wait, there's more. There's also a set of Ginsu knives. That dates me, I think. So then inside, remember how I was signing all those tip-in sheets? This is what it was for. It could be where the rumors came from. I may have accidentally spilled this early. Never the Roses. It's got the tip-in sheet, which I'm sure I showed you all. and there's Beastly Bunny chewing on the book and my legit signature, my original signature. And then on the facing page is a handwritten letter from me that they reduced and put in there, and it's in very small print because I wrote it too long, but it's there. You can use your magnifying glass to read it or take a photo and blow it up. And then the inside is the same. The inside is the same as the Tor edition. But let's see, where's there? I know there's some additional. Yes, there is some bonus content, exclusive bonus content. It even says there, Owl Crate, exclusive content. And this was fun to do because these are one of them. The first one is something that's taken from a book that Onira started writing and then decided not to write, and it breaks off. She tears it away because she decides this knowledge is too dangerous and she doesn't want other people to use it for bad. And then on the next page, there are, it says, various drafts of letters discovered in His Eminence Sorcerer Steranos' desk. And it's all of his various drafts, beginnings of leaving notes for Onira. And then also, then there's various fragments discovered in Onira's fireplace, mostly burnt because she burns stuff. And it's all of her starts where she makes her drafts in writing to him. The finals are, of course, in the actual book. But, so there's your insider's breakdown to Owl Crate edition, which I adore and love. And now I can prominently display with the other editions. I was keeping it down out of sight before this. So, isn't that exciting? So now let's see. What news do I have? What news? I am going to Worldcon next week. If you are planning to be at Worldcon, I don't have any official events, but I will have book plates with me, and I might bring some books I have UK editions too. I think I already did my side by side comparison of those. And so I'll be around. Tag me on social media. I'm mostly socializing. I'm going to have lunch with my editor, Allie Fisher, and with Debbie Pillai, the publisher. So that's going to be really fun. I'm going to parties. I'm not exactly bar conning because I did register. I'm just not on programming. Um, and then gossip. Do we want to talk about gossip? There's one of the big things this morning is that, um, so this is kind of like an industry thing that all of you may or may not know about, but there are these people out there who have businesses uh, making merchandise of Sarah J. Maas's books and characters, right? Um, so they like make dust jackets. So something like this, something like the Owl Crate edition. They did this working with my publisher, right? Uh, because of the way Sarah J. Maas's career grew, and because the merchandising thing is newer, I guess, there are all these people who started up businesses selling dolls and I don't know, tote bags and dust jackets and all this kind of thing based on Sarah J. Maas's books, her intellectual property. And they are licensed to do that. You're not supposed to do this without a license. Not that people don't. But yeah, there are some people out there who think, oh, I love this book. I'll just make dolls from it or posters or sell my art of it. And you actually don't get to do that because it's somebody else's intellectual property, right? So these are people that did license it, but now the license is being revoked. They've all been notified that they have 60 days, which, is arguably a very short period of time to um, to cease and desist, essentially. So there are some people going on social media saying that they have $10,000 worth of inventory, and how are they supposed to get rid of it in the next 2 months? And yeah, that's a difficult thing. But also, it's just when you're licensed for something, when you're selling something based on intellectual property that is not yours, it's a risk. And it's even if you've licensed it legally, that's what can happen is they can yank it back, and it's unfortunate, and I'm seeing lots of people upset, but then I'm seeing other people saying, well, why not diversify? Why not look at other fantasy romance authors and make merchandising agreements with them? uh, why not you know, instead of putting your eggs all in one basket. And I suppose this is just a life lesson. It's a business lesson learned, and it's yeah, it's really hard. But especially when an author is really powerhouse like Sarah J. Maas, eventually the corporations are gonna take it over, right? It's kind of like Disney being so draconian about all of their trademarks. That's why they want that intellectual property, and they want to be the ones making the money off of it. So I feel for those people having to get rid of that amount of merchandise, but also, yeah, yeah, it's hard, it's rough. So I am starting a new book today. You all will be thrilled to hear that I'm starting Magic Reborn, the ninth book that began with, in the series that began with Dark Wizard. We're going to wind this puppy up. So I'm getting to work on it. We're shooting for an August, blah, blah, not August, October 31st release date. And yeah, so I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you all on Friday. You all take care. Bye bye.